My grandma had 10 kids, 5 were rich, 5 were poor, and so I came out the poorer version.
Who is Chaunte Wayans connected to? For people that don't know, let's just let people know, who are you? Who's your parents?
My grandma had 10 kids, 5 were rich, 5 were poor, and so I came out the poorer version.
What do you mean by that? 5 were rich, 5 were poor?
5 became famous, and 5 was clerk assistants, or they,
Okay.
not clerk assistants, but they done well. It's just they didn't go into the fame world. They were too real for fame.
And this is all under the same roof back in New York? Were they all under that same roof?
Well, we all, the crazy thing is, I think it was a two-bedroom apartment. So my grandma and grandpa obviously shared the room. And then I think it might have been 3. Regardless of what it was 10 kids in there that they had. And then it was me, my brother, and my cousin Craig. So Then it was 3 grandkids staying there for a second.
Right.
And then I wind up, I moved around a lot. So I lived in, I grew up in Manhattan. Then I went to Harlem, Brooklyn, did all that. And then we moved to Jersey.
Right.
I lived in Irvington, Newark, all that stuff.
Right. So that you were under the same house that like Marlon and Keenan and all them?
I basically grew up with like Marlon and Sean, on a like 2 to 3 year old / 14.
Because I guess like I was always under the impression that like, I'm gonna tell you what I thought. I thought you might have been like a cousin, but that decided to jump into entertainment as opposed to immediately.
Here's what's crazy. I never wanted to be in this industry. I started off wanting to be a computer science. I went to Seton Hall for a semester, and something just wasn't, I just wasn't feeling it. And I moved to Cali, worked on Scary Movie 2, and no, maybe Scary Movie 1. I think I just came in late. I worked on that and found out that there was post-production. And so then I got into like editing and so on and so on. But eventually I was trying to take that path, and I realized how dark that is. Like, you got to be a certain type of person to be able to sit in the room for 15 hours in the dark and have all these high people with little notes, but you can't, like, you put the movie or the TV show together, but you get no love. Like, it's like you a slave. Right. You basically picking the crops and doing all this stuff, and then they go, look what I got.
Right. Did you ever find out like why your parents or your mother, because I'm familiar, your mother is one of the sisters.
Shout out to Elvira.
Why she didn't do entertainment? Did you find out what was her story? Well,
my mother moved out here, and this is probably one of the reasons why I didn't want to get into the field at first, was because you don't really have a soul. And a soul in the sense, I'm not saying my family or people don't, but what happens is you just have to be a certain type of person to be able to deal with the people around you, the fake people or, fans. You don't have a life anymore. That's what I really meant. You lose your life. But I've to see what I've witnessed throughout my life of like people meeting you at the airport, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, you on your way to a funeral, and they mad because you sad because you got to go bury somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when people don't have that soul anymore. And so I remember them coming out, because they would come out to our graduations, and they would come visit, and we go to dinner and stuff, and it was like that moment we got to have with our family. Then people are coming up, they want to take pictures, and it's I just feel like there's a different time and place for it. So it's like, wait until after we eat. You want a picture like this with us with the steak in our mouth? But when I moved to LA and I got a chance to get on stage, I realized that it was a voice for me, because I was a huge introvert. I was shy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt I had a lot of doubts, and the stage was the first time I felt free and nobody could tell me anything different.